poison, lightning, anything like this, any of these magic skill damages, then critical strike doesn't apply to that, or the critical strike chance. Simultaneously, these don't apply to magic. Attack rating per level. This is the level that your rating would go up every time you'd level. Your gear would tell you how much you'd have to gain per level in your attack rating, and attack rating affects the amount, the chance that in which you can actually make contact and strike the target that you're aiming at without them avoiding your attack or your projectile. Attack rating overall, that's your base attack rating, and this is your attack rating percentage, which could be increased by gear that's asphyxiated with something like this with a percentile increase. And then you'd have physical damage. Physical damage is separate from skill damage. This only applies to your strikes, things that are designated as physical attacking types. Attack damage, this is your flat attack damage. It's not the enhanced damage or anything like that. Piercing, piercing is going to hit the initial target. If you were to throw a projectile, go past the first target that you initially targeted and hit any other sequentially in that area, that zone, any other enemy that's within its trajectory that it passes by that could hit. Slow target, this essentially slows the target's ability to attack you, and also their movement speed overall, so they can't move as fast or attack as fast. Attack range increases the range of any attack that this is applied to. So if you have melee attacks, those melee attacks will have a further range which they could reach and hit the target that you're aiming for, and or if you use it for another ability, it have increased range again, such as for if you were casting something, you could apply it to it. Extra damage to bleeding monsters would be the same as it was to extra damage to deep frozen, poisoned, burned, stunned, and so forth. So whenever they have these affixes on them, these debuffs, these effects that you placed on them, that they'd be stunned, burned, or poisoned, and so forth, and they'd receive extra damage when, as a result, you were attacking them again. Life stolen per hit, life per second. Life per second, again, is just like a flat amount of life that you're guaranteed to get per second, and life stolen would be the amount that you were told on your gear that you would receive if you hit a target. Life after each kill, and mana after each kill, eliminating a monster in the game or boss. Summon life percentage, this is the percentage of life that they'd summon their minion, their companion with in the game, those that are capable of summoning, such as maybe an illusionist and or a necromancer, for example. Summon damage reduction, in other words, the damage that that summon would receive would be reduced. And summons resistances, their spawn that helps them, their allied companion that they'd spawn would assist them in combat. They'd have additional resistance to magic skill damages. Sentry skills, this is something that engineers would utilize. They put down sentries much like sort of like a summons does, but they're different. Sentries is kind of its own thing. So sentry damage, they would send out a sentry, spawn it, and its damage would increase. The amount of sentries that they could spawn would increase. Their sentry attack speed could increase. Their sentry duration could increase, that they're able to use it. And you have ignore target defense. Ignore target defense is essentially you avoiding the initial target's defense, and because their defense gives them an ability to avoid your attack and or a projectile, when you have a higher attack rating than they do, or an ignore defense designation on one of the affixes of your gear or weapon that you have this applied to, when attacking that target, initially you bypass some of the defense and you'd be more accurate, more likely to strike them with the ability when you target them.